Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the National Press Club. I'm Allison Fitzgerald Kojak, and I am the 112th president of the National Press Club and a correspondent at National Public Radio. We are all here today with a singular purpose. That purpose is to bring Austin Tice home. The reason, please. So the reason we, the 3,000 members of the National Press Club, have joined in this mission is that Austin Tice is a journalist, and he's a darn good one. And Austin is in trouble. He's not just a journalist. Austin is a son, a brother, a Georgetown Hoya. He's an Eagle Scout. He's a Marine. And today, we have people here that represent those many aspects of Austin's life. And that we are all coming together again to bring Austin home. So before we hear from our partners, I want to walk you through the Night Out for Austin Tice project and update you on where we stand. Night Out for Austin, which is on May 2nd, is designed to raise awareness and money to try to shake loose information that will help find Austin and get him safely back here. Restaurants across the country and even some overseas have pledged to contribute a share of their revenue that night to a fund for information leading to Austin's rescue. We're now at 37 restaurants in 8 states in the district. We have 2 partners in Morocco. We've already started advertising, and our marketing will continue through May 2nd, and you'll hear more about that later. So who are our restaurant partners? Here are a few. Amuz, which is a Persian restaurant in McLean, Virginia, which signed up just this week. Our friend and press club member and Washington Post reporter Jason Rezaian recruited them, and he says they have awesome kebabs. The Columbia Room was voted the best bar in D.C. in the Washington Post and Washingtonian Magazine, and they are also on board for Austin. And so is 1789, one of the loveliest restaurants in Washington, and a place I could only aspire to go to when I was a student at Georgetown and lived right down the block. We recently added Union Street Public House in Alexandria, which is a neighborhood favorite, and we are honored to have The Source on board, a Wolfgang Puck restaurant and the location for many special and memorable evenings. But perhaps our most interesting new additions are Goodlands Barbecue in rural South Carolina and Rosalie's Trattoria in Wilmington, North Carolina. And finally, Burgereem, which is a gourmet burger spot in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, Burgereem, I have learned this morning, is actually a big franchise chain of burger joints, and it's based in Israel. And so if any of the other Burgereem restaurants out there want to join us, please do. None of us here in the room know these latest restaurants. We've not been there, but the owners of these places heard about Austin, and they wanted to help, and that to me is very inspiring. If anybody else out there who is listening to me owns a restaurant, please join us. We are happy to have you anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. So we have a lot of guests here today who are supporting Night Out for Austin Tice. And first and foremost are Austin's parents, Marc and Debra. So Marc and Debra are going to come up to update you as much as they can about Austin's case, but please understand there are going to be some things they cannot say. Please welcome Marc and Debra Tice.
Go ahead.
No. You go. Thank you all for being here. And I think I'll start with really what is most important in, as you've heard, this is all about getting Austin home. And I want everyone here and everyone that, sees this event to know that this is a serious effort that is already having and will continue to have a real impact on the speed at which we get our son safely back home. Ever since the FBI posted a reward for information leading to Austin's safe return, we and the the FBI and other agencies have been receiving real, viable, actionable information from people largely part of the Syrian diaspora who believe they know something about Austin's situation, believe they have heard or seen something, and they've shared that with us. And since the addition of the Night Out initiative, which will, we hope, double the reward that's given to anyone that shares information that helps bring Austin home, that simply continues to stir the pot and bring more information forward. It's a very important effort, and we are so thankful to everyone represented here, the Scouts, Georgetown, all the partners that we have, the amazing restaurateurs that are participating, and I have to give, because we're Texans and we tend to be kind of proud, a special shout out to one of our partners, Chris Shepard, who's a James Beard Award winning chef that owns some wonderful restaurants in Houston, our hometown. So, thank you to everyone here that's participating, and we ask you to go to your favorite restaurant and ask them if they'd participate. The Press Club's done a fantastic job putting together a website that's a one-stop shop. All the information that you need or anyone could possibly need is there to participate, and we truly believe that this effort is going to be significant in getting our son home soon and safe. So thank you very much.
So for the update, we were brought to town, brought to DC this week at the request of the Secretary of State. He hosted a huge event. It was historic and unprecedented at the State Department. It was the first time ever that the U.S. government had encouraged the families of hostages to be gathered in one place, allowed us to get to see each other, encouraged us to mingle. In the past, it's been a contain and control policy toward families, keep them silent and just don't let them make trouble. So we hugely appreciate that. We think that is a step in the right direction. And we also believe that it underscores this administration's commitment to bringing Americans home, not allowing Americans to be detained overseas with impunity. And we really appreciate that dedicated effort, the willingness to make a very public statement of it being a priority for this administration. As far as Austin's situation, I know some of you were probably here in November when the first time the Special Presidential Envoy had ever spoken publicly and said definitively there is absolutely no doubt that Austin Tice is alive and we need to bring him home. And so there are efforts underway. For us, the information that we were given was a little different than what we prefer, because we kind of got, I can't say a lot, but just believe, and that always just makes me kind of go, why can't you tell the mom, right? So, but we do have to accept that sometimes, and so we hope that with us, you guys will hang on to that, send out positive vibes and faithful prayers, that brings us our most desired result very soon. Thank you all for being here. We'll take now or later.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, why don't we do a few questions for the Tices now, and then we'll move on to our other partners.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions right now? Okay.
Yeah.
And maybe we don't. Oh.
Susan.
Are you continuing to travel to Syria?
We have, for the past 3 years, not been given visas allowing us to enter Syria. So we continue to travel. As recently, well, I guess last December, we were in Beirut in Lebanon, which is, as close as we can get without that visa.
Right.
And, really we go there we'd rather go to Damascus, but, we go to Beirut. We had a press conference. We talked to media there. The whole idea, really 2 points. One, we want Austin's captors to know that we're still here. We're knocking on the door. We'll never go away until Austin's in our arms. And the second thing is that if we can be public in the region and be in the media there, there's always a chance that Austin will catch a snippet on the radio, catch a glimpse of a TV screen, and know definitively that there are so many people working to bring him home, and that he's not by any stretch of the imagination forgotten by anyone. So yes, is the short answer to going there. No, we can't get into Syria.
Any other questions right now? Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
great.
We're not going to hear from Joy Hamer. She's a Georgetown graduate student in journalism who's also president of her school's chapter of the Society of Professional Journalists, for an update on what her colleagues at Georgetown are doing for the project. Come on up, Joy.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being with us here today at the National Press Club. My name is Joy Hamer, and in May, I will be graduating from Georgetown University with my master's degree in journalism. Thank you. But before that great day, my colleagues and I are engaging in a project that is so much bigger than ourselves, and it's a project that's taking place worlds away. We are hoping to do our part right here and right now to help bring Austin Tice home. As many of you have just heard, Austin is a photojournalist who has been missing in Syria since 2012. First, we would like to bring Austin home for the sake of his family. His parents, Marc and Debra, who are here with us today, have not only done an extraordinary job of raising Austin, but they continue to fight each and every day for the return of their son. So we just give them one more round of applause. If you guys could stand. Let everybody. Austin was reared for a life of leadership and service. As a young boy, Austin was an Eagle Scout. As a United States Marine, Austin served 2 tours, one in Iraq and the other in Afghanistan, all to help protect and serve our country. And as a journalist working in the profession to which I aspire, Austin took great personal risk to keep the public and its citizens informed. Secondly, we want to bring Austin home because he is a very special part of our very special community. He is one of our own. He's a fellow Hoya. Austin graduated from Georgetown's Walsh School of Foreign Service, where some of my colleagues are studying now and where he began perfecting his craft. He was on his way to a Georgetown law degree when he left for Syria. His parents know better than all of us what urged him to go to such a dangerous place and to sacrifice so much. But we can attest to the world from which Austin came here at Georgetown. Our university is a place of commitment. It's a place of service, and it's a place with a strong sense of community. So we are preparing now to do our part and put in some very hard work in our community to bring Austin home. Earlier this week, I, along with other Georgetown students, came here to the press club, and we met with the team coordinating a night out for Austin Tice, which is an event taking place on May 2nd that will bring awareness to Austin's story. We believe that we have a great strategy for how we can help with a night out for Austin. Soon, we will be canvassing Georgetown restaurants. We will go door to door We will ask to meet with owners and with managers, and we will show them Austin's picture, and we will tell them his story. And then we will ask the restaurants to pledge 10% of their May 2nd revenues to a reward fund that will be used for Austin's safe return. And of course, we will do our part in galvanizing our student body to make sure these restaurants are filled on the night of May 2nd. The fact of the matter is that Austin is in terrible trouble. He is in danger, and this is the time now more than ever to push for his release. Who will do it if not for the Hoyas? It starts with Georgetown. We must lead, and together we can do this. Together we can free Austin Tice. Again, my name is Joy Hamer, and thank you all for doing your part in advocating for the safe return of an individual who is more than deserving.
Thank you, Joy. As a Hoya myself, it makes me very proud to have you here. I want to also welcome a truly wonderful and talented chef, Tracy O'Grady, here of 1789, which is right down the road from Georgetown and the place where students like me would dream of going on graduation week with their parents finally came to town. It's a lovely restaurant, and we are lucky to have Tracy participating in Night Out for Austin Tice. Please come join us here.
Hi, thank you all. Mr. and Mrs. Tice, we are so happy to be able to do whatever we can to help. So I have to say, to my shame, until recently, and being asked to take part in this program, I did not know of your son's plight, and that made me very ashamed. So I, being the chef from 1789, I'm very happy to do our little small part to help you out, help everybody out, because I feel in the time that we have right now, we all feel very small, and we feel like that we can't do anything to help these situations. It feels very far away. We don't have the information that we need. Even though we're the United States of America, it's like, what can we do? And I think the only thing that we can do is try to band together in our small little way and reach out, and together, maybe we can make a big impact. And since we are on the campus of Georgetown, and being part of the education of Austin, and also Austin worked at Clyde's. And Clyde's, once they heard of this project, were so thrilled to be able to, lend our little part. And we're hoping to build a broader community for that support, like with the women chefs and restaurateurs. So I will be there on May 2nd. Anybody that would like to come and join me. And if you need anything in the future, please, I'm there all the time. You're welcome.
Can I just make a response to Tracy? I think that you really hit the nail on the head about why this is so important, because Marc and I have been raising awareness by going on to every news station, radio, newspaper that we can think of to raise awareness for Austin. But the fact of the matter is, many people don't watch the news. And also, we have that 10 to 15 seconds if you happen to be walking through the room, right? But this effort gets really into the community. Everybody eats. And this is raising so much more awareness in this short amount of time since this idea took form than Marc and I have been able to do in 6.5 years. So I really thank you. What you're doing, your commitment is so important, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone, Tracy. And I just want to do a shout out. You mentioned the women chefs and restaurateurs. We had a news conference about a month ago where several women chefs who are members of this organization came here, including 2 Washington chains, Hank's Oyster Bar and Pizzeria Paradiso. And they have been incredibly supportive to this effort, and we really appreciate your efforts as well. So we're going to travel a ways away from the elegance of 1789 to the campfire. beans, hot dogs on a stick. Boy Scouting has been a big part of Austin's life and something he and Marc did together, I understand. And Debra. Oh, great. Okay. Something he and Debra did together. Let's give her credit where it's due. Marc attained the rank of Eagle Scout, which is quite an honor, rare, and it shows a lot of discipline and character. Today, we're grateful to be joined by two leaders of the Eagle Scouts Association, Craig Poland and Brett Coffey. Mr. Poland is a staff person and Mr. Coffey is a volunteer leader. They're here to tell you what the Eagle Scouts are doing to help with this project and bring back one of their own. Please come on up.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this. It's a great privilege. My name is Craig Poland. I'm the Scout Executive and CEO for National Capital Area Council, which serves the greater Washington, D.C., Maryland, and Virginia areas. We're very proud to be here today. We serve over 57,000 young people, young men and young women with the scouting program in this area and nearly 20,000 adult volunteers. And so we felt it very important to be involved in this project. Quite frankly, as you've heard here several times today, Austin Tice is an Eagle Scout. We produce over 1,500 Eagle Scouts, which is the highest rank you can attain in scouting every year here in this area. And so when we thought about this, there's a saying that we always have, and that is once an Eagle, always an Eagle. And certainly that's on our mind when we think of Austin. The reality is before he was an Eagle Scout, he was a Scout. And what we instill in all of our Scouts are some tenets in the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. And I won't repeat both of those, but I will tell you within the Scout Law, there is a line that says to help other people at all times. That's very important. In the Scout Law, there is loyal and helpful. That's very important. I think that applies to this situation. It's why we're involved, quite frankly. Over the next several weeks, and we've already started, we will be sharing to all of our members locally through all of our social media, through our National Eagle Scout Association word on May 2nd and a night out for Austin and encouraging them to participate. We've actually shared this at a national level, and there has been coverage on that prior even to this initiative. But Brian, who does Brian's blog on scouting, which is our national blogger, has already started to share this nationally across the country, and certainly Houston, which is an outstanding scout council in our organization, is where the Tices are from. So I'm sure they'll want to play heavily in this as well. But it's a great honor as an Eagle Scout, as a national outstanding Eagle Scout recipient. I feel it's absolutely the right thing to do. And as a parent, I can only hope you get your son back, and we want to play whatever small part we can in that. Brett.
Thanks, Craig. My name is Brett Coffey, and I'm the chair of NISA DC, and NISA DC is the local chapter for the National Eagle Scout Association in the National Capital Region. And there are over 50,000 Eagle Scouts in this region, and so and they're contributing every day. You know, to get your Eagle, there are a few things that you have to do. There are a lot of things that you have to do, but a few are especially relevant to Austin's life. And three of the merit badges that you have to achieve are the citizenship in the community, citizenship in the nation, and citizenship in the world, followed by a major service project. And one of the things that I've found after taking this role is that the contributions of Eagle Scouts are not just in that process, but they continue on for the rest of their lives, contributing to the community. And those are the values that Austin displays every day, and for which we're so proud. So we want to, as Craig mentioned, we want to do what we can to help. And I would ask Eagle Scouts in any of the communities with the restaurants that are on board to go out that evening and to participate. And if you're in a community that doesn't have a restaurant that's listed, go out and find your restaurants and get them involved. So anything that we can do is appreciated, and you know, we've got to get one of our own home. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig and Brett. So earlier this week, our project got a big boost, about the size of a broadsheet newspaper page. The Washington Post ran a full-page ad about Night Out for Austin on Monday, and it's been a huge win in our sales. excuse me. It's part of the Post's ongoing support of press freedom. So Chris Karate from the Washington Post, Vice President of Communications for the Washington Post, is here to talk more about their efforts to support Night Out for Austin. Come on up, Chris.
Thank you so much. Hi, it's good to see you guys. We at the Washington Post, we are so thrilled to be able to support this initiative. We have space in our newspaper for full page and half page ads. We've got space on our digital platforms for ads that'll be seen around the country. And frankly, around the world. And, I wanted to talk for just a minute today about the sort of second benefit, which you heard a little bit, I think, discussed here of this initiative, beyond raising money. To me, it's really about raising the awareness. I think that that's such a critical thing when you're looking at, trying to bring someone home, making sure it's top of mind. It's actually one of the reasons why the Washington Post last fall launched our Press Freedom Partnership. And that's really a way for us to make a concerted effort to devote space to not just advocate for press freedom around the world, which is sort of this big idea that's hard for everyday people to connect with sometimes, but to really focus on the individuals, right? The reporters around the world who are providing an essential service to all of us. They're making sure that we understand the truth of our world. It helps us make important decisions. These are the people who are on the ground, and we really wanted to connect, make that personal connection for people. And that's been a really important part of this, and Austin Tice has been a centerpiece for us in really trying to make sure that we maintain that awareness so that we can bring him home. I wanted to briefly mention, because I've gotten so many questions about it, our Super Bowl ad from earlier this year. We had this last-minute opportunity to do something, and we just seized it because we thought, this is 100 million people. This is a moment in time. Everyone is watching. And how wonderful would it be if we could speak to them in a way that's different, right? I think right now people think of the media and it's this strange entity, and people forget that it's a part of the fabric of our lives, right? It's something that has been part of our everyday for generations. And that was the approach we took when we put this together, was first we wanted to really go back and say, hey, see these stories, all these things that you know about that have touched you, that have impacted you, that have empowered you to make decisions or, request more information or take a next step. That was journalists' work, bringing that to you. And who are these journalists? And then we really wanted to make sure they knew that, in fact, a lot of this work is dangerous, and that these journalists put their lives on the line. And thank you so much to the Tices for helping us get this beautiful video of Austin, because I thought it was incredibly powerful to just see him in motion, just having that be out there to that, not just the 100 million people watching live in the Super Bowl, but, that video ended up going viral. We had many, many millions more who actually went and sought it out and watched it. And so that's always the goal in these things, right? I mean, Austin is out there putting his life on the line, making sure that we could have information from a country that many of us have no idea what's happening on the ground. That's something that's so, so valuable. So we will always continue pushing, making sure that nobody forgets, keeping that pressure on officials to bring him home, keeping pressure on individuals if they know something to give information, because that's something that's so important. And as someone who's about to have a son and cannot even possibly imagine what you've been through, I'm just really honored to have been a part of it. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris, and congratulations on your upcoming son. And thank you to whoever it was who gave me that cough drop. So your ad is running out in our lobby and has been since the Super Bowl. So if anyone wants to see it, get refreshed, you can go check it out. I'd like to leave you all with a few thoughts. So when someone uses force to take away your child, your colleague, your fellow alumni or scout or Marine, you can become angry, you can become depressed and shake your fist at the sky. But what else can you do? You don't have an Army or an Air Force yourself. How do you fight for your loved one? You fight by organizing, by gathering together and speaking up and speaking loudly. And the Tices have been doing that for years. You fight with language, with statements and messages. You can fight with advertising. You can build coalitions and make people care, and that is what we are doing here. And I have to change the page. You can go out and find those people who care where they are, which, as Tracy mentioned, everybody eats at restaurants. I'm going to mention a few that we haven't already mentioned tonight. The Bird in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And there's the Goldfish down in Corpus Christi, Texas. You can find them all on the ads that were in the Washington Post. You can find them on the website. And that is where we're going to build this community to help bring Austin home together. When we all join together like this, we are strong, and we are much more than just strong. We are a force. So I'm Allison Kojak, and I'm inviting all of you to come with all of us, the journalists, the student activists, the Eagle Scouts, and the restaurants, and the National Press Club, as we pull together to find Austin and bring him home. Thank you. If anybody has questions for any of our partners, please let us know now. I think, yeah, okay.
Thank you. Are there any ongoing efforts to expand the awareness process through the metro system?
Oh,
Washington metro system.
good idea. I think those efforts are going to start around 11 o'clock this morning, 11:30.
We appreciate fresh ideas so much. I feel like we're so often just keep looking in our small box. That's just great. That's it.
Okay. Anybody else? See, this is what happens when you bring people together. Isn't it beautiful? Okay. Well, thank you all for being here. Thanks especially to Debra and Marc for coming this morning. And we appreciate it. And let's all go get some restaurants and then eat and bring Austin home.